Okay, so now let's look at how are polymers made. So, polymers are made out of what we call monomers in chemistry. Okay, but we must also understand what these monomers are, right? So, polymers are made out of monomers. Monomers are a group of identical molecules that come together and make a polymer chain, right? So let's look at what a molecule is, right? So a molecule is the smallest possible substance of a compound, right? So a molecule, remember when we were talking about a molecule, a good example of a molecule, we can talk about like a good example of a compound, right? We talk about, let's say, carbon dioxide, right? So that is carbon dioxide, right? So carbon dioxide is made up of particles of oxygen and particles of carbon and particles of oxygen. So it's carbon and oxygen that fuse together to make up a molecule, and these molecules, when they collect together, we then have the carbon dioxide gas, right? Okay, so now the molecules that come together and make a continuous chain to make a polymer, they are called monomers. Okay, right. So, for example, we have polyethylene as an example of a polymer, right? We have got polyethylene, it is a polymer. It is used in making insulation, other types of plastics, and so on. Okay, so what happens with polyethylene? Polyethylene is a man-made polymer where carbon and hydrogen molecules, where carbon and hydrogen elements fuse together to make the polyethylene molecule, right? So we have got carbon in polyethylene, we have got carbon that teams up with hydrogen, right, to make up a molecule. And when these molecules combine together, they then make up the monomers of polyethylene. Okay, so this type of a polymer is called additional polymer. So this is what happens. We have got a hydrogen, a carbon element, a hydrogen element. Hydrogen, so this is a chain of the hydrogen elements, and this is a chain of the carbon elements. This is a chain of hydrogen elements. Okay, so what we are saying is these come together, they join together in that form. Okay, so they join together to make a chain, a very long continuous chain. And this is the reason why like plastic pipes, insulators, they become very long, they become very long continuous pipes. It is because of this joining of the molecules of carbon and hydrogen. So carbon and hydrogen, they are the elements that form up the molecules that make polyethylene. Okay, right. So this is how polymers are formed, right? So this chain becomes very long. So polymers have got consistency in terms of their properties. So their properties are consistent, right? So you get a product that is so long. Look at your hose pipe in your garden. It is so long with the same properties that are spread out, right? You can have a very long plank of wood that will have the same properties. This is achieved by the way that the molecules are joined together. All right. So this is what you must understand about polymers.